How's it going, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be talking about something that I mentioned actually in yesterday's video, talking about should RuneScape 3 use macros? Should it allow macros in the game? And we're going to be talking about this. It's just going to be a discussion video. If you guys want to minimize your YouTube or to do something else while you're playing the game, maybe just listen in the background, feel welcome to. Just wanted to let you guys know, because you don't really have to be watching. I may pop some stuff up on screen here and there during editing, but it's not going to be a big deal. You won't miss out on anything. Also, once you've listened to the video, if there's anything you're thinking about and you want to comment it, do get down there, do comment, do share. This is the sort of video I love getting all the comments on and getting to read through them and answer to as many as I can. I'm not going to say anymore that I can reply to every single comment. There is just no freaking way. It is getting so hard to do. I'm trying my best. If I don't reply to you, don't take offense to it. I am just really struggling to get through all of them now. But anyway, if you enjoy the video, leave a like on it. Do subscribe if you're new. Now let's talk. Does RuneScape 3 need to allow macros? Okay, so we should probably start off by talking about what is a macro, just for the people who aren't clued up on all that, and also the people who are thinking, bots? You're not allowed bots? Bots are bad, don't have macros. What do you want about? Bots are terrible. No, macroing is not botting. It kind of, in a way, I guess you could say it is, but it's not the same thing. I'm not talking about a bot that you would press play and it will go ahead and play the game for you. It will go and freaking do some mining for 20 hours straight, or it will go and do basically anything that you tell it to do. I'm not talking about that. They need to be banned, they need to be absolutely torn to bits, and they need to be thrown off of the edge of the earth, pretty much, something like that. But I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about macros. Now, before we get started, I am 50-50 about this. I mentioned this in my last video. I am very sort of down the middle about this. I don't know whether I would agree that it should be in the game. I don't know whether I would disagree that it shouldn't be in the game, but I am going to talk about the points. And you know what, maybe by the end of it, my opinion will change, because I like talking things out. And then I might have decided, do you know what? Yeah, add it. No, don't add it. We'll have to see what happens. But the main point of this video was for me to just sort of see how you guys react to it, see what you guys think about the macros themselves, see what the community is thinking about it. And also, guys, I know there's plenty of you that do use macros for stuff like bladed dive and all that sort of stuff, switches. In the comments below, if you're one of these people, let me know. You don't have to tell your RuneScape name or anything. Just leave a comment down below, just to confirm that people are actually doing this. And I know for a fact you guys are not getting banned either. So as always, I seem to have completely forgotten what I was meant to say. The macro I'm talking about is things that you would press one button and it will automatically say equip a different gear style, or it would do things like your bladed dive for you, or it would do things like using your greater ricochet switch. Basically, anything that you need to press like more than 2 or 3 keybinds for, you would be able to bind this to one key, and it will create a macro, basically a shortcut. You would press one key, it can use up to maybe say 5 to 10 keys, and then it will fire off your abilities during combat for you, and it just makes your life a lot easier. And it does, it will make your life a lot easier if you could do this. However, it is against RuneScape's rules. It is breaking the rules. It can get your account banned, so do not do this, guys. It is still against the rules. I'm making this video, yes, it is still against the rules. Do not do it. If any of you get banned from doing this, it is not my fault. Don't do it. I don't do it. I would not risk my account doing it, especially since I need my account for YouTube. I would, hell no, not happening. But I suggest you guys don't either. I don't want you guys to lose your account because of me. But still a good topic to talk about, so let's talk about it. Okay, so now that we know what I'm talking about when I say about a macro, basically just switching through your gear or creating shortcuts for yourself, what is the issue with these and what is the pros, what is the cons, basically? Now, the pros is obviously it makes your life a lot easier. RuneScape at the moment, especially during combat, there is so much stuff you need to switch through. No, I take that back. There's so much stuff you can switch through. You don't need to take all these switches to bosses, but we'll talk about that later on. Having macros in the game would 100% make life in endgame PVM a lot easier. For example, to do bladed dive, this is probably one of the biggest macros that I've heard about. I'm fairly sure the RS guy made a video talking about people that use this a while back now. I can't remember how long ago it was, but a lot of people basically will have them bladed dive set up to the 3 keys that it needs. For mine, I literally have it set to K, L, and then the little semicolon thing next to it. But to do this, I have to move my hand all the way across from where I rest it on Q, W, E, R, T, and I have to move it down to K, L, and that, and I just roll my fingers across it. Now that's not too difficult for me because I'm used to it. I know where it is, and it's something that I'm kind of used to doing in other games as well anyway. But a lot of people will bind that action to, say, one button. You can maybe set it to Q, or you could set it to something on your mouse. A lot of like Razer gear, like gaming stuff and stuff like that, all come with macros enabled on it. You can literally program them in from the software that they give, and this allows you to basically use a lot of keys on your keyboard with just one push of a button on your mouse or on your keyboard somewhere else. And yes, that would make your life a lot easier. You could press one button and you could basically bladed dive wherever you wanted without having to press anything else. Sounds absolutely great, doesn't it? It does. It sounds absolutely useful. It sounds really cool, and Most MMOs other than RuneScape actually have this built into the game. Now, they have it built in so that you can set up shortcuts basically, or set up your own macros so that you can make your life a lot easier. It's a quality of life thing. They understand that there's a lot to manage, there's a lot to micromanage in the game, so they've added it in the game. Final Fantasy 14 is one that I play, and I know they have a macro system in there. I have not touched it, I've not used it, I've opened it and been like, yeah, that's kind of cool, I see what that's for, but I've not done anything with it because I've not felt the need to just yet. I am nowhere near endgame though, so I probably will do eventually. But in RuneScape 3, I know for a fact that there are so many things I could macro in this game and basically make it like I am not typing an essay when I'm doing Raksha, for example. At the moment, during Raksha, I'm changing prayers, I am switching to an offhand glaive, I am using my bladed dive. It literally, if you had like a hand cam of me doing that, and this is just me with like a less input per second than most people, it looks like I'm typing. It is absolutely crazy. Now, Evil Lucario, he does have a hand cam sometimes, I'm pretty sure, and he's literally non-stop freaking flicking his fingers over those keyboards. It is crazy. Now, if he used macros, he could probably bring that down to like barely moving his hands. So it would be a good quality of life thing to add for that sort of situation. It would reduce the issue that people have with all the switches and stuff in the way of pressing keybinds. You would still have to use all the inventory space, which is another reason people are complaining about it, but it would like reduce that for a lot of people. You could make your greater ricochet switches just one press button, bladed dive just one press button, even switching from like melee all the way to magic could be one click of a button. This is something that I'm sure Jagex have probably thought about in the past, and have probably even at one point considered doing it and allowing people to do it. And the reason I say that is I know a lot of people who are using this have been using it for years and just haven't been banned. They've not had a warning, they've not had anything at all. Don't get me wrong, this isn't me saying, guys, it's safe to do it, go and do it. Don't do it. It's definitely not safe to do it, because if you're using it a lot, I assume, it would probably make a difference. And if you go ahead and basically macro your entire thing, you're probably going to get banned, and that's not going to be on me. I am warning you now, do not do it. But there is plenty of people out there who do use the macros and are getting away with it and have no issue with it at all. It makes life easier and they just get on with it and don't really care. Now, that being said, that is like the only pros I can think of with this. The only pros for PVM with macros is that it makes your life easier, it's quality of life, and yes, that's a fairly big valid point. But let's talk about the negatives, because honestly, guys, there's some stuff. There's some stuff. Let's talk about it. So the negatives, this is what's basically keeping me 50-50 about this. If these weren't here, I would say Jagex, add something in game, a built-in version of macros where you can control what's allowed and not just allow it from stuff outside of the game. It has to be done in game, can't be done out of the game, because that could open up a hell of a lot of issues. But if you could add something to the game, then just go for it. However, these issues are there, and this is what kind of bothers me. Bots in this game are an issue, a big, massive issue. There's people running bots 24/7, making loads of money, crashing the market for certain things, and then selling that online to black market traders that will then sell it to other players in game. Bots have always been an issue in RuneScape. Jagex have done a pretty decent job of combating it over the years. There's no way they can beat all of them, and I'm sure plenty of you in the comments will be like, no, they haven't done anything, they don't give a crap. They really are probably trying to do quite a lot, but I assume they look at the bigger picture in the way of how do we combat them all in one go, rather than hiring someone to sit 24/7 and just go and ban individual bots. They could definitely do that, but it wouldn't make sense from a business point of view to hire probably 3 or 4 people to just rotate shifts, and all they do is go out and ban people. That'd make us players happy. Hell yes, it would, because they would probably be able to keep on top of it for a majority of the thing. But you need to realize they've added stuff to the game like logging in via Google. You can make accounts through Facebook. Do you know how fast it is to set up a Gmail account? It literally takes about 10 seconds. You can set up a Gmail account in about 10 to 20 seconds, and then you've got a new account on RuneScape. That's it. That's another bot back into the game. You can skip the tutorial. Guys, honestly, it's so fast. They could go there, they could ban these 50 bots, and then literally like a day, not even a day later probably, they could have another 50 bots back in the exact same place, and you're paying someone to basically do nothing. They're banning these bots, but the bot makers, the people who are running the scripts, aren't going to give a crap, because you know what, they're throwaway accounts, they've made their money, that's all they care about. But innit, what the hell has this last 2 minutes got to do with anything? Why have you just rambled on about what bots are? You said it wasn't about bots. Okay, macros could lead to bots. There's plenty of skills in this game that require, what, 1 or 2 clicks to actually do stuff? Think about fletching. All you need in your inventory is headless arrows and some broad arrow tips. Now, that is it. You just click one, you click space. You click one, you click space. You click one. You get the point. how easy would that be to macro? You could easily macro that to the point where you are doing literally nothing. Macros can be put on loop, they can be run forever, and it's something that they could definitely do. The only issue with allowing macros but not allowing bots is, how do you tell the difference? How do you know that someone's not just set up a macro, let that run, and gone AFK? In comparison to someone who sat there pressing number 1 on their mouse and it's been doing the 2 or 3 actions that it needs, they're actually playing the game with the way that JGX said they're allowed to. I feel like allowing people to use macros in game would only open up the possibility for bots to get away with it a lot more. It would make detecting them probably a lot more difficult, as there'd be plenty of people who are doing less actions, less inputs. People's mouses would not need to be moved because you can macro freaking click positions and everything these days. So there's absolutely this point to take into account. Would you ruin the integrity of your game by allowing bots to go rampant just so you can bladed dive without pressing 3 keys and only have to press 1? Personally, I would say absolutely not. This is not something that I would allow. This is not something that I would be interested in doing. I am happy moving my hand over to press K, L and the colon button to do my bladed dive. You know what? It's not the end of the world. But it wouldn't be very good if we did that and we had 400 bots all doing the same thing, ruining the economy like back in the day. Now, I'm not a game developer, so there may be ways around this, but personally, I think that allowing macros would just lead to people macroing all their skills, macroing other things in the game, and setting up something that JGX just can't detect as well, because they have to make room for the system not to detect normal macros. The next point, which is going to be very, very quick, is also, there's a lot of false bans at the moment already as it is. Imagine if you allowed macros into the game and JGX couldn't tell the difference between a macro and a bot. You would get so many false bans going out daily. It wouldn't be good. And you just know that if they release this and said, okay, we've made it so the system won't detect you as a bot if you're just using macros for stuff like switches, and then you just know that same day thousands of accounts are going to get banned permanently. Macros aren't appealable, I'm pretty sure, so you could buy accounts and it'd just be an absolute mess. It'd be the login lockout again all over again for like months. It just wouldn't be good. The final point that I'm going to make for the against side is something that Ages here, if you're listening, I know for a fact you're going to comment this if you haven't got this far. But basically, everyone's complaining about these switches that they've got for these bosses, and they want macros for these switches. You don't need to take them. You don't have to take them to the boss. I take so much stuff to Telos just to make my life a little bit easier. But at the same time, by doing so, I'm making my life a lot more difficult because I'm pretty much typing when I do that boss. I might as well be writing a freaking email to someone. It's absolutely crazy. I take my crossbows for the essence of finality. That's 3 switches there. I also need to use engineers for the humans to make sure I don't miss, and then I've also got to have my bolts on. So there's like 5 things that I need to do just for one special attack. Now believe me, that is a mission to switch. It is absolutely crazy. I screw it up all the time, but I'm practicing it and getting used to it. But I choose to do that. I'm choosing to take that to Telos for that extra 30-40k damage. I don't need to do that. I don't need to take it. I can definitely do it without. It would probably reduce my kill times by a little bit. But at the same time, if you're the person who is complaining that there's too many switches and there's no way to do it all like efficiently, then really you shouldn't be that concerned about kill times anyway, as the people who are taking all these switches and getting fast kill times are the people who are dedicated to actually doing it. Like I said earlier, look at Evil Lucario when he's playing. If he has a hand cam on, you could see him literally typing across the whole keyboard pretty much. His actions per minute, he has like an action per minute thing on his overlay, and you can see he's like going nuts. It's absolutely crazy. But he's committed to that. He has learned it. He has figured out the keybinds for it, and he has worked on that. He deserves the credit for being able to do what he does. And if you added macros and everybody could do that, then it kind of takes away from that as well. Switches aren't designed that you need to take all of them everywhere you go. You can do, and you absolutely can, and it will increase your speed in some places as well, but it's going to come with extra work. And that's actually, now we're getting to the end of the video, I told you guys, I told you I would make a decision. I don't think macros should be added to the game. I don't think it's something that we need, and I really think that if you're using all these switches, then that was down to you. You made the decision to bring them. You need to set up the keybinds, you need to find a way to use it, and you need to find a way to manage it. I am not a fan of switches. I am not a fan of bringing 20 items with you when you do a boss fight. I completely agree with the people who feel like they need to do that, as look at me doing Telos. I am still doing it. I'm still bringing them all. My issue with it is probably the inventory space and having to bring so much, and especially death costs as well. Maybe work on that bit, JGX, but as for keybinds, as for macros, personally, I don't think these are a good thing to add to the game. I feel like the people who are doing really well without them deserve to do really well without them, and I feel like the people who are trying to learn to use them should put the time in, should learn them, and then when you get there, it'll feel rewarding and you'll just enjoy it a lot more. Don't feel pressured to use switches. You don't need to use them. You can do bosses without them. We didn't used to have invention. Everybody did absolutely fine. But yeah, anyway guys, I'm going to end the video because I've just come to a decision. I've just explained to you guys what my final decision and final thoughts would be. There's probably not all that much more reason for me to keep talking, and I'm sure you guys, most of you, have probably clicked off by now because surely to God, you're fed up of hearing me talk. But if not, let me know in the comments. Are you still here? If you are still here, you're absolutely awesome. Do leave a like on the video. Do subscribe if you're new to the channel, because if you're new and you're still here, holy hell, welcome to the channel. Get subbed. And also, thank you so much to my current channel members. You're absolutely awesome. You all support me extra. You don't need to, but it's absolutely insane. I appreciate it. If anyone else is interested in joining those people, then there's a join button by the subscribe button. You can get some awesome perks while supporting myself as well, and I honestly really do appreciate that. But anyway, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one. See you later, guys.